And Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants is facing at least 5 challenges in federal court. The president is directing federal agencies to stop issuing citizenship documents to American-born children of undocumented parents starting next month. But the lawsuits argue birthright citizenship is protected by the 14th Amendment. That amendment states, quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. The issue could end up all the way at the Supreme Court. Senior investigative correspondent Katersky joins me now, along with ABC News immigration reporter Armando Garcia and ABC News legal contributor Kim Wehle for more. Kim, this executive order states, and I'm quoting here, the 14th Amendment has never been interpreted to extend citizenship universally to everyone born within the United States. It says, quote, the 14th Amendment has always excluded from birthright citizenship persons who were born in the United States but not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. What do you make of that interpretation?
It ignores Supreme Court precedent from 1898, a case called United States versus Kim Wehle, where the argument was made that a person of Chinese descent born in the United States would not get birthright citizenship because his parents were both still citizens of China, and the Supreme Court of the United States held no, said if he's born here, he is a citizen here. So that argument flies in the face not only of the plain language of Section 14, but also Supreme Court precedent.
Now, Aaron, nonprofit groups, pregnant undocumented women, at least 22 states, they're all bringing different lawsuits against this order. What is their key argument or key arguments?
One is challenging the President Trump's authority, saying no president has the power to just get rid of a duly enacted constitutional amendment. Presidents, as New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin said, are not kings. They're also arguing that this move would effectively render 150,000 children born in this country each year to undocumented parents, would render them stateless, would make them all deportable, and would eat away at federal funding for state programs that help children of immigrants and children of citizens. So they're challenging in federal court on those bases.
Armando, one of these lawsuits says about 150,000 children born each year would be deportable and many would be stateless. So who would be affected by this and what kind of impact could it have?
Look, critics of this executive order say that this would essentially create an underclass of people in the United States. Babies who are born stateless. What they mean by that is essentially a citizen of nowhere. That, of course, could cause issues when they try to get medical services, birth certificates, eventually work permits, you name it. So some may say, well, why don't they just inherit the citizenship of their parents? Well, let's take, for example, a baby born to Venezuelan parents. That country currently doesn't offer consular services here in the United States, so even if they tried to establish citizenship or get that baby a passport, they might not be able to. So while this might be aimed at disincentivizing undocumented immigrants from coming to the country, it also applies to people who are here legally but on a temporary basis, let's say student visa, work visa, or under a humanitarian relief program. All of them could be in limbo.
Supporters talk a lot about birth tourism. Can you speak to that and why the argument is being made that this would end that practice and disincentivize illegal immigration in many cases?
Well, many people believe that one of the main goals of people who are immigrating into the country is to have a baby here in the United States. Sometimes, through some situations, a baby who is born a U.S. citizen can adjust the status for their parents. So that is the idea, that a lot of the people who are coming through South America, through Central America, hoping to get here to the United States, have that in mind.
Aaron, how is the Trump administration responding to these lawsuits, and why are they saying this is necessary now?
Well, look, they didn't talk about birthright citizenship on the campaign trail, but immigration certainly was a centerpiece of President Trump's campaign, and he believes that he's going to rewrite how the nation deals with the situation at the border, which he calls a national emergency, even though engagements at the border have been down. He also believes that he wants to deal with undocumented immigrants who are already in the country differently than the prior administration. He says there are both economic and national security consequences if he doesn't take these steps.
And Kim, a federal judge is set to consider one of these challenges tomorrow, but ultimately, this could end up being settled by the Supreme Court. What are the next steps, and how do you see this playing out?
Well, I think a question is whether the people within the government are going to obey this, what looks like an unconstitutional order, absent some kind of ruling from a federal judge. It's setting up a clash, really, between the president and the judicial system. And I do think it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and the conservative majority, very Trump-friendly, will have to decide whether to not only stick with the plain language of the Constitution, but whether to overturn that ancient precedent from 1898.
All right, Armando Garcia, Aaron Katersky, Kim Wehle, thank you all.